Hi there guys, and welcome to this session on more Macbeth revision, but particularly I'm going to be focusing on the ways in which you can really develop strong, detailed responses to any literature text, in actual fact to any question that requires AO2 as a skill. And I'm going to be focusing today on using the Peeeeel structure. I promise I won't annoyingly do Peeeeel too many times, and thinking about ways in which you can practically build up from a level 4 or 5 style basic point evidence explain and develop that into a much more detailed kind of response. What I'm going to be using today is a Macbeth revision booklet I put together for my class, for my students, and if anyone wants a copy, send me an email and I can always get that to you. It's just got loads of little extracts and practice questions in it. And I'm going to be focusing on a particular extract that I'm sure will be really familiar to lots of people studying Macbeth, which is this scene from Act 1, Scene 5, where Lady Macbeth is reflecting on the prospect of her husband becoming king. The question in this exam-style question is how much is she presented as an ambitious woman? And we know that obviously we're focusing on the speech and the play as a whole. Now, I'm not going to focus specifically on this question because I've done that in another tutorial, but what I wanted to do is, as I said, just use this as a prompt for building a really developed point evidence explain, something that would get you full marks. I know lots of people may think that P or these kinds of structures are a little bit limiting because they're sort of they're giving you this framework and this structure, and it takes away a bit of your individuality. Definitely not trying to do that. You know, I love creative responses, and when students are being independent, that's the best thing possible. But for those of you who just want that little road in, that little route in to answering these style questions, I just wanted to give you that bit of extra sort of support and help. So, using the Peeeeel system here, P is going to be really familiar to you, and Peeeeel with the L at the end might be very familiar as well. But this is the structure I've been using with my class lately, and it basically follows a number of these different kind of command words, getting you to do a bit more. So I'm going to start old school here with a point about how is Shakespeare presenting her as an ambitious woman. So I'm going to think about, I always start off my points with the writer because I think it just really sets the tone for what you're doing. What is Shakespeare doing? So Shakespeare uses powerful language to do something. What is he doing it? To show Lady Macbeth's ambitious nature. So I've showed an understanding of the title of the task, and I'm focusing straight away in on the fact that Shakespeare is doing something. So points should be fairly short, something brief like that. And then we move on to our evidence. And again, we want something that is quite brief and quite short. So I'm going to focus on the idea where she talks about fill me from the crown full of direst cruelty. So let's have a look. For example, fill me from the crown full of direst cruelty. Now, as we know, or as we should know, if you've got a really long quote but you don't want to put the full thing in, just a bit of ellipsis there, really focus on the key bits that you want to put in there. And this is probably definitely as long as you would want for a quote. Any longer than that and you're risking just copying out sections of the text. So our explain is obviously the idea that we are explaining our quote in relation to this point. So I've got to make a link between this quote and the idea that it's something about her ambitious nature. So I'm going to start with this conveys. What is it conveying to us as readers? This conveys the idea that she is, what idea does that convey? That she is prepared to go to any lengths to become queen, even, excuse my writing, even if that involves cruelty. So I'm going to use an embedded quote here. Examiners really like that, you know, where you put a word of the text into your own writing. I'm going to, fill me from the crown, which has got all this fun meaning anyway, because of like, kingly crowns or queenly crowns, but also the crown of your head, the top of your forehead. So if she wants to be from from her toe to her crown filled with cruelty, I think we can say here, she seems to want to be consumed, it's a good word, consumed by evil. So at the point where I've got this here, I've got a strong already level 4+ style response, but I want to do a bit more to make sure that I'm challenging myself and showing off more skill. So what I'll now do is I will explore, by which I mean I'm going to offer another interpretation, and I'm definitely going to zoom in on some key words. So another interpretation could be, what else could it also suggest? If she's asking to be filled with cruelty, it could also suggest to me that she doesn't want to listen to her conscience. So let's have a think about some of those words. She talks about the diarist cruelty. Well, I know that diarist is it's a superlative, isn't it? You don't get any more dire than that. She wants to be the worst, the most cruel possible. So I'm going to zoom in on that. So I'm going to say the superlative diarist suggests that she wants to overrule, should we say overrule, any good feelings she has. She wants to be kind of completely evil. Right, so I'm now already on a good level 5 because what I've done is I've shown that I can zoom in here. Focusing, I've also shown some terminology which is useful. So now I'm going to expand this. I'm going to find other supporting evidence to back up what I'm saying. And so I'm going to think about the section which is actually, let's have a look, where she's talking about the spirits, which I think is, she calls upon those spirits, doesn't she? So I'm going to say that she's quite committed to evil here. So this commitment to evil is reinforced. That's a good verb to use there. It's backed up. This is reinforced by her calling upon spirits, another embedded quote there, to support her and to, we've got to have the take my milk for gall line, haven't we? And to take my milk for gall. So I need to explain this extra evidence that I found here. Clearly, she wants to, let's say, reject any warm, compassionate elements of her character, doesn't she? Now I'm running out of room in that box a little bit, but in the exam, what I might say is that her ambition is so strong that she's willing to call on devilish forces to aid her. I wonder if I can just fit that on. She is willing to call on devilish forces. Right, I should have made, this is my bad, I should have made the boxes a lot bigger, shouldn't I? This is totally scruffy. So I've got a bit more evidence to back myself up. So now I'm definitely into a strong level 6. I might even be up into a level 7 by now. But what I want to do to really sort of seal the deal on this is think about why this is important. This key skill here of evaluation, which we know is that level 7, 8, 9 core skill, explaining why something's important. So let's think about why that might be important. This is important Now I'm going to bring in something structural here. This is important because it's actually it's the first time we see her, isn't it? It's our first introduction to Lady Macbeth. So I'm going to bring in some stuff about stagecraft here. So what Shakespeare actually done, Shakespeare has placed her alone on the stage. So we're thinking about the drama of this now. And what is she doing? She's giving a soliloquy. In which, what is she ultimately contemplating in this soliloquy? In which she calls on the spirits to help her commit the ultimate crime, really at this time, the ultimate crime, regicide. So again, I'm showing some real knowledge here because I'm looking here at the context as well, aren't I? So what I'm going to do, just to sort of round off this Peeeeel point, is that I'm going to then make this link or connections back to either my title, or the theme of the essay, or the writer's purpose, or the context, the message, ideas. In a comparative essay, say when you're looking at the poetry, you could obviously just make this as your bridge into comparison. So let's focus here on something to do with context, because I haven't done too much of that. I'm going to think about the audience reaction. So I'm going to say audiences, how would they respond to this? Would be, I'm going to say startled by her, I'm going to put some more evaluative language in here, by her brutal ambition. Well, excuse my handwriting, it's really embarrassingly scriffy. Right, so I'm going to delve into this a little bit more. Given the position of women in Jacobean England, how would we describe that ambition? I'm going to say that it's unwavering. Yeah, her unwavering ambition is surprising. And what else can I say? It's also probably appalling, isn't it, given what she's considering. And what is it really doing in terms of this introduction to her? Well, really, it introduces her as the kind of character, as a character who will, I'm going to say, stop at nothing to succeed. So I'm linking it then again back to the question, which is about how is she presented as an ambitious woman. Whoa, my hand's killing. So this really developed Peeeeel point. I'd be confident if I was marking this that a student who could put all of these ideas together, going through all these stages, would be securing a level 9. And for all of the literature questions, if you've got an extract, so let's say for Lit 1, Section A and B, I would hope that a student could do sort of 3 of these, how many E's? 5 E's on the extract, and then obviously they'll be bringing in as well the rest of the text, and for the rest of the text you wouldn't be able to do this level of AO2 analysis because you obviously don't have the quotes and evidence in front of you. For Lit 2, really tricky again when you don't have the quotes in front of you with the modern fiction, but certainly for 2B when you're looking at the poetry, and for 2C, the unseen, you could do this as well. And obviously this is applicable, as I've said, for the language paper 1, question 2, 3 and 4, and on language 2, questions 3 and 4. So just have a go next time you're doing some practice questions, have a go at using Peeeeel and see how it works for you in terms of developing your P points. Okay, good luck.